Hey beauties, I'm coming to you. This is the first ever live from the bathtub because I can, and actually because it really is one of my number one tools in just like life hacking tools when I am feeling like the world is throwing all sorts of things at me and I need to just calm the fuck down. And so midweek, midday bath to stop yourself from spiraling is never a bad idea, and I'm going to explain to you in this video why that is and the science behind that. So for those of you who clicked to watch this video, you're probably on some level sharing a lot of the experiences that I did for quite a few years, which is just feeling frustrated and like you're banging your head against the wall when you have such a big and variety of like tools. You've done talk therapy potentially, you've done some life coaching, maybe you've read a bunch of positive mindset, books, and you feel like you're meditating, you're doing all the things, and yet still when something happens that throws you off kilter, you find yourself spiraling, or you find yourself just banging your head against the wall feeling like, I just don't know what to do with this. And so I want to talk to you a little bit about the science behind it so that you understand that this isn't about you. I know it can be very easy for us to internalize it and feel like, oh, this is about me, and feel shame, like, oh, how come everyone else, it works for other people, it doesn't work for me. I know I had that. And what I found was really the most effective and efficient and life-changing was really to start to understand the science of my nervous system and start to realize that all of the work I had been doing, although it was and is still very valuable in certain scenarios, that I was bypassing a fundamental key step one. And to explain to you what that is, we need to go into just like a 1-minute science lesson. So bear with me. This is going to explain a lot of the more spiritual and metaphysical stuff, but it's going to root you in the science of it, which I really love. I don't know about you guys, but I've really sunk into my spiritual, but I always need the science to back it up because I'm a cynic. I'm such a cynical motherfucker. So here we go. In our brain, we can think of our brain as 3 separate sections. We have over here, the front part of our brain is like the neocortex. Second half of the brain, or other part of the brain back here, is the emotional brain, and then in the back we have the reptilian brain, so it's like closer. It's sitting over here. And what's really cool is understanding that actually every single part of our brain speaks a different language. And so neocortex is all about processing rational thought and concepts, right? And so the neocortex speaks in words and language and really understands like concepts. So if you go, I am, I don't know, I feel shitty right now, but I would like to feel happy, like that concept is like processed in your neocortex, right? Doesn't necessarily mean that by saying that you're necessarily going to feel happy, right? And this is where the reptilian brain comes in. Because reptilian brain down here is primarily about, and you may have heard this before because we talk about this a lot in coaching, but we don't get into the details, is that this is about fight or flight. It's about survival. It's about equipping your body with the ability to survive when there is threat. It's the fear center. And so you can imagine when things start to get out of control, and it could show up in the form of, oh, I'm just taking a look at my bank account and oh my God, it doesn't look great. Or my relationship is ending and I'm suddenly feeling a sense of, lack of safety or betrayal or trust that has been eroded from under me, a sense of security that has been taken away from me, right? Or it can show up in the uncertainty of launching your next program in your business, or deciding to, follow your intuition on something. And so what happens is when we start to feel a little bit scared, our reptilian brain kicks up and we get, different symptoms in our physical manifestations in our body, from heart racing, possibly sweating, getting ready to like run or fight, because that's sort of what the initial function is. And just feeling like, pupils dilate, our adrenaline goes up, our cortisol goes up. But the problem nowadays is that many times our reptilian brain is on full alert when we don't need it to be, when we sense a threat, but it's not actually a threat to our survival. So we may think it is, right? Like, oh my God, my bank account is at zero. But the truth is you're not actually going to die in that moment. And so your body doesn't need the adrenaline in that moment to fight anything, but you have it. And so we don't know what to do with it, right? And the reptilian brain only doesn't understand words or language. So you can talk all the concepts you want, but your reptilian brain, if it's in fight or flight mode, or freeze, right, is the other response when we completely shut down. You can say all the things in the world, but it's like you're talking a foreign language to this part of your brain. And so what happens many times, what I've seen, is that what we do, and this is what I'm getting to, is that what we do is we try to address the issues of the reptilian brain by using the language of the neocortex. And we bypass the first step. And so when we talk about addressing, like, you know, connecting to your body, or we're doing somatic work, breath work, that's when we're talking about addressing the reptilian brain with the language that it speaks. And the language it speaks primarily is breath. So, for example, I'm going to share with you at the end of this video a few different breath techniques that you can use when you are feeling like you're going into hyper alert that will help ease your system back to a place of equilibrium, or at least a little bit of relaxation and sense of safety, so that you can then speak language and speak to the neocortex, which is great at problem solving and conceptualizing. So if your bank account is at zero, for example, coming up with a solution, like, what do I do? Should I sell some of my old clothes just to get me through for, you know, the rest of the month? Can I borrow some money from someone who I know, you know, will give it to me, and I can, you know, tell them I'll pay them back next month, right? Like, those are like solutions we come up with that are tangible. But what happens many times is we try to go straight to the solution and try to figure it out because we feel a sense of lack of control, like, oh my God, everything's freaking out. And we bypass the really essential stage of getting your reptilian brain back to a place of stability so that your adrenaline and cortisol go down. And what happens is we stay in that fight or flight mode, right? And so we have elevated hormones which can cause hormonal imbalance. We have you know, other hormones that can affect your digestion, and so suddenly you're either like, you know, you have IBS stuff, right? That's why when we get nervous, a lot of people are like, I gotta go to the bathroom. Or you may get constipated because you feel a contraction, you know, that might be your body. You can start to break out with skin issues because, again, your hormones are off. So it will end up causing a lot, sort of a domino effect on your body from a physical standpoint. So here we are with this, the basic idea of just connecting to your breath can not only help you then move into problem solving, but can also avoid you having, you know, more chronic and consistent health issues as a result of elevated cortisol and adrenaline. So I wanted to share that with you because I think many times we go back and we start to feel like, oh, this is my problem. It's because it's me. I'm doing something wrong. And I want you to know, like, it's not you. You just may not realize, we have not been taught that, like, we really need to just start with something simple like you know, movement and breath and basic stuff that addresses the reptilian brain. And that's essentially a lot of the work that I do, right, in my programs with clients in Embody, the class, and of course for myself. So for example, to bring it back to the bathtub here, like, I had a crazy ass morning and I had a lot of bad news flung at me, and I'm also in a very transitional period in my life, and I'm currently staying with a friend, and like, just a lot of things, a lot of balls that I'm juggling, and I could feel myself, you know, starting to spiral, and I knew, okay, I need to do something that on a physical level gets my body back to a place of safety, and for me, that's warm water. So I'm wondering what it might be for you. Think about it. Could it be a breath practice, which I'll share with you in a moment? Might it be something like taking a bath or a nature walk? We have so many different ways that we do that, but we always need to remember that that's step one. And then we go into problem solving, bringing into positive thinking, bringing in all the life coaching stuff that you learned, going to talk therapy if it's something that would be really valuable, having talk therapy around. So I really encourage you to understand a little bit more that you just might not be speaking to the right part of your brain. but that you're doing the best that you can. And so I want to help you make it a bit more efficient and a bit more effective, right? Because that's ultimately what I want us all to be able to do. So if this is something that sounds really exciting for you, you guys have probably heard me talking about this already, but I've opened the doors to Your Embodied Life, which is the best way to really get introduced and also dive into the work that I do. And you can, there's different tracks. So you can come in and just join us as a group. You can come in and do like a full-on deep dive with me where we do one-on-one and customize it to your life. While you also are part of the group. So there's many options. I've created payment plans so that it's accessible for everyone. So I'd love for you to check it out. You just go to bit.ly /yourembodiedlife, all one word, to get the deets and to book a time to chat with me, because I'm chatting with people all week who might be interested. I'd love to have you ready. Have some people joining us who've committed to the circle this round. And I'd love it to be you as well if you're finding that, you've tried all these things, but like maybe it's time to really go straight to the core of the issue. And like I promised, I want to share with you some of the breath exercises that can really help bring you from a place of frazzled spiraling down to a place of relaxation again, or at least bringing it down, one notch. So one breath technique is super simple to remember. All you do is you inhale, say, for 4 counts, and then exhale for 8. And this is, so just you may inhale for 6 counts, then you exhale for 12. So you always want to double your exhale. Very simple, right? You can remember that. The second one is it's called box breath. I learned it recently from a fellow coach, Kelly Sullivan. I think I might pronounce her name wrong, Ruta, R-U-T-A. And she is also a psychotherapist and has done this work for years, and she taught me box breath, which is inhale for 4, hold for 4, exhale for 4, hold for 4, right? And you can think about it like a box. Inhale for 4, hold for 4, exhale for 4. It took me a second to figure that one out. I'm like, what's a square? Or a box. And then exhale, and then hold for 4, right? So just 4, 4, 4, 4. And then the last one that I've heard of is called the 4-7-8 breath. And that is essentially inhale for 4, hold for 7, exhale for 8. And you do that after you fully exhaled. So it's always good to like exhale, exhale, exhale. And then, inhale for 4, hold for 7, exhale for 8. So you may want to try all of them and see which one works the easiest for you and calms your system the most. I think, as you can tell, like really what is most important is for your exhale to be long and for you to just take some time to focus on your breath, and that will slowly signal back to your reptilian brain that you are safe. There is no lion attacking you or human attacking you, and that there are ways, because you are smart as fuck, and you're going to figure out how to pay that credit card bill, and you're going to figure out how to fill that program, and you're going to figure out that actually maybe life is better without that person, right? So but you can't do that when you're spiraling. So I just wish this for you, that you can realize that it really is not about you. It's about understanding how your body works, how your mind works, how your nervous system works. And the second we know that, I feel like we're a bit more empowered and we understand what's going on behind the scenes, and there's less guilt and shaming about it being us not doing it right. So that's what I would love for you. And of course, if you want to book a call and have us connect to see if this program is right for you, I would absolutely love to connect with you. Again, it's bit.ly /yourembodiedlife. Can't wait to chat with you. And if it's not time this round, just keep on rocking your shit and try out the breath and let me know how it went.